Hello everybody. So this will be my second video. Thank you all for being so patient, and I hope that you enjoy this tutorial that I will be showing you on how I do my eyebrows. Now this is me with no makeup. I usually start with my eyebrows first, so I'll go through the steps that I do in order to create my eyebrows. One of the questions I get asked the most is if my eyebrows are real. You'll see at the end when my eyebrows are on, if you haven't already seen my eyebrows before, that they do look like they could have been tattooed on, but they're not. As you can see, I do have hair on my eyebrows. The hair I have is really thick and it's really dark. There's just not a lot of them growing in. So I like to use pomades versus powders on my eyebrows to give it that more full look. There's a lot of different options when it comes to eyebrow products. There's pencils, powders, gels, pomades, everything. I mean, you can put them on however you want. There's lots of different application techniques. It really comes down to what look you want and how comfortable you are with your eyebrows. I personally think that powders and pencils tend to be a little bit more first-timer friendly, or if you just want something really super quick and just a small fill. Products like the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow or the Lancome Sourcils Gel are definitely more of a, I would say, someone who is used to doing their makeup or likes to spend a little bit more time on their makeup. If you're looking for something that's really quick in the morning, I would recommend a pencil similar to the Anastasia Brow Wiz or the Sephora Collection brow pencil. Pomades require brushes and everything and take a little bit more time to really fill in. So how dedicated are you to your eyebrows is the question you should be asking yourself before you go out and purchase something. Also consider the amount of hair that you have. A lot of people who don't have a lot of hair in their eyebrows tend to go for the pomades and the creams to fill them in because it's more of a deeper fill versus a pencil or a powder even sometimes, or the gel that just goes on the hairs is more of a color changing effect or a light fill if you have like sparsities. Like if I was to use a pencil, I'd maybe just go in the ends here and just do a couple quick little wisps with it just so that I could get a little bit more fill down there, because the ends of my eyebrows tend to be a little bit thinner than the beginnings of my brows. But I like really bold, really standout brows, so I like mine to be really dark. I also like to consider hair color. You generally want to go 1 to 2 shades darker or 1 to 2 shades lighter from my experience with a natural looking brow. I have pink and purple hair, so I can pretty much do whatever eyebrow color I dream of. I'm very comfortable with changing up my eyebrows. I like to do generally black brows for every day. That's like my natural brow. But I've also do pink brows, purple brows, I've done blue and purple brows. I know a lot of girls and guys that do green and pink and purple and red and brown and blonde and black, whatever their little heart desires. I'm a big believer in, do whatever makes you feel comfortable, and if you aren't comfortable wearing a brow that I would put on myself, I wouldn't do it on you, and I wouldn't recommend you to do it just because you think that it's like cool or popular. Do whatever fits your personality and your confidence level, and if you feel like, this is your first time doing a brow and you don't feel confident rocking out a really bold, drawn-on brow, then maybe something a little natural is more your avenue. You can always ask me questions if you do want recommendations for maybe a more natural looking brow product, and of course maybe in the future, if it's requested, I could do a natural brow tutorial, possibly on maybe a model or a friend of mine versus myself, because as I've mentioned, I have no brows, so it's not really ideal for me to do a natural brow on myself because you can't really see, but and it doesn't really fit me. I don't feel comfortable wearing like no brows, but I love to do makeup on other people as well, and I'd be more than happy to get a volunteer to come in and we can do a natural brow just to do a slight fill, and I can show you guys how to do that as well in the future. I should say I always start with skincare, which I've already applied, but before I put any makeup on, between my skincare and my makeup set, I always do primer. Doesn't stop with my brows. I put eyeshadow primer on my brows, which I'm using the Urban Decay Anti-Aging Eyeshadow Primer, which I use for my eyeshadow as well. A little bit goes a long way. I like to just rub it between my fingers to warm it up, and then pat it all over my brows. And this just ensures that any product that I'm putting on my brows is just going to stay all day. Then I like to go in with my product. I use the Sephora Collection Pro Angled Liner Brush. It's a thin angled brush. This is brush number 22. And then I use my Lancome Sourcils Gel number 6 in Black Noir. It's a nice pomade that's workable. Doesn't dry out, stays nice and creamy and liquidy. And I like to just dab a little bit on the end of my brush. And then I pick a brow that I want to start with. I start with the underneath, and I'm going to trace it into my arch, and I'm going to go about a third in. You never want to start here at the beginning because that's when your brows look too harsh and drawn on. You want it to look as natural as possible. So I start about a third in, lay down some product. And after I do that, whatever's left over on my brush, I want to blend into the front of my brow. And if you don't know how to find where the front of your brow should start and where the end of your brow should end, you can take your brush or whatever pencil you're using and just set it into that little groove in your nose. And that's where your brow should start. If you turn it over through your iris when you're looking straight, that's where your arch should be. And if you go to the side of your nose and you turn it through the end of your eye, that's where the end of your tail should be. Perfect! And then when you're doing this every day, you tend to just figure out where it should go, or you can kind of make your own eyebrow depending on, what you're comfortable with. This is a good trick as a guide because not a lot of people have hair that they can see, or maybe if your hair has fallen out or anything, you kind of want to know where to put it so that way your eyebrows look similar. This is a great guide to be able to just figure that out. And after I'm done with that brow, I'm going to move on to the next. A good little tip is the brows don't have to be exactly the same. If you have trouble with really filling in the brow and everything, there are stencils available to buy, like Anastasia Beverly Hills and Sephora Collection, and there's a lot of other brands out there that sell stencils with usually multiple shapes, so you can really guide it to your face shape. But someone like myself, I like to do my brow myself. I don't use stencils, so it really comes down to how comfortable you are doing your brows and really how much help you need by yourself. So just know that there are tools out there that can help you guide. So I just finished filling in the second eyebrow with the Sourcils gel, and once I'm happy with the shape of both of them, I'm going to go into my next step. I like to use powder over the gel just to give it a nice soft effect so it looks a little bit more natural. And I always do this, natural, because I feel like no matter what, my brows won't look natural, but this will make it look more natural. I'm going to use the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. You can tell I've had this for a really long time and I use it every day because it's really worn out. And I'm going to go in with these three colors right here, which are Lazarus, Liberatus, and Shax. So I'm choosing three colors that are just a couple shades away from each other so I can create a nice gradient effect on my eyebrow. So the key with more natural eyebrows is you always want to do a lighter color in the inner corners and then a darker color in the tail. So if you're doing the tail, that really creates the frame and the shape of the face, but if you do dark in the center and dark on the frame, it makes everything look really like close together but also really harsh on the face. So this is going to make it look a little bit softer. So I'm going to go in with my light color, and this is my Pro Brow Brush number 20 from Sephora Collection, so just another angled brush, but this one's just a little bit denser. I like this because I can really get in there and blend. And I'm going to start at the front of my brow with a little bit of product, and I'm going to blend. And then I'll go in with my second color. And I'm just going to use this in between the light color and the black color in order to fade it. And then I'll go in with my black and follow it into the tail. So once you're done filling it with the powder helps set it and makes it last a lot longer from my experience. And if you have a little bit of a mess similar to like what I have down here, don't worry about it. It's not going to be perfect every single time you do it. You can always use concealers or products like that in order to clean it up if you want to at the end, which I will do. So now I'm just going to go in and fill my other eyebrow real fast, and then I'll show you how to clean up the brow with concealer. Once you're done filling in both brows with your powder, then you're going to go in and clean it up with concealer. I like to use the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. I'm using shade Light. I think there's 6 shades right now. It's a really nice light liquidy concealer that gives you good coverage, but it's also workable, so great for contouring or anything like that as well. I'm going to go in with my Pro Flat Concealer Brush number 76 from Sephora collection. It just has a nice point to it almost, so when I go in I can really just shape my brow. And I'm going to start right underneath my brow by applying some product, not necessarily going right up close to it. Just so I can get the product in there. And now I'm going to go in and pull it right up against the color. There's my shaped brow. I'm going to do the other brow real quick. Once you're done shaping your brows with the concealer, you are finished. And then it is time to move on to your primer and your foundation and everything else for your face. And that is how I do my brows. If you have any questions, definitely comment or, email me, makeupcreeps@gmail.com. You can also ask Scully because she has a lot of good intel as far as drugstore eyebrow products. If you don't like the products that I was showing you, I'm sure she can find you some good products that you can get at any drugstore around you. And if you want any other eyebrow tutorials with maybe certain products, let me know and we can try to make it work. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching.